Syrian Air Force destroys terrorist dens and ammunition warehouses in Damascus countryside. In Yemen, dozens of civilians are killed and injured due to Saudi aggression in several areas. And after 11 years of negotiations between Iran and 5+1 group, a nuclear agreement is coming soon. Good afternoon. President Bashar al-Assad said that the reasonable politicians and parliamentarians in France and Europe could play an important role in setting right the Western policies towards Syria and the region. President al-Assad's remarks came during his meeting on Sunday with Jean-Frédéric Poisson, member of the National Assembly of France and leader of the Christian Democratic Party. The president talked about the war the Syrian people are engaged in against regional and foreign-backed terrorist organizations and the threat posed by terrorism to the region's stability in particular and Europe in general. He said that the facts have proved the Western policies in Syria and the region unsuccessful as they caused terrorism to expand and spread into European countries, with them not heeding the demands of the region's peoples, meddling in their internal affairs and dealing with double standards in terms of fighting terrorism. Under the directives of President Bashar al-Assad, the Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Armed Forces, General Ali Abdullah Ayoub, the Chief of Staff of the Army and Armed Forces, has conducted a field tour accompanied by officers from the General Command. General Ayoub inspected the Syrian Arab Army units operating on the axis of Palmyra in Hom's eastern countryside. He was briefed by field commanders on the fighting operations carried out by the Syrian forces against terrorist organizations in the area, praising their courage and heroism in the battlefield. He also visited one of the air bases where he was informed about the missions carried out by the Air Force to support the fighting operations on the ground and pursuing the remnant terrorists escaping from the area. The Syrian soldiers confirmed their determination to carry out their mission of defending the homeland. A Syrian Arab Army unit foiled the terrorist attack of ISIS on military point in Palmyra. A military source said that the army units and the armed forces in Aleppo have destroyed hideouts of the terrorists in the neighborhoods of Beni Zaid, El Castello, Hillok, and the area around the Air Force Academy. On the other hand, units of the Syrian Arab Army targeted a terrorist group that was trying to infiltrate in Tel Saada in Suwaida's countryside, killing and injuring a number of them. Moreover, a mortar launching base was destroyed in El Tulabiya Square in Daraa, while terrorists were killed and injured in Kunaytira's countryside. In Idlib, army units eliminated more than 60 terrorists after foiling an attempt of al-Nusra to infiltrate and attack military points southeast of Jisr al-Shughur. The Saudi Air Force continued violating the humanitarian truce that was declared by the United Nations in Yemen and targeted residential areas in the labor city in the capital Sana'a, killing and injuring dozens of civilians. Moreover, 8 Yemenis were killed and others were injured, including women and children, as a result of the Saudi raids in districts and regions in Sada province north of Yemen. Meanwhile, Ma'rib city has witnessed a series of raids targeting many areas there, in addition to the houses and private and public facilities, which caused huge damage in the infrastructure and houses. In Al-Jawf province, the Saudi raids targeted the vicinity of the government complex and the neighborhoods of Al-Hazm city. However, due to the Saudi aggression and the unjust blockade, the health ministry announced stopping medical and health services in 11 Yemeni provinces as a result of medical supply and medicine shortage. Iran and 5+1 group are close to clinching a historic pact today that would bring Iran sanctions relief. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister said that diplomats are close to reach an agreement and there were contingency plans for an announcement ceremony if the negotiators seal an agreement which would open the door to ending sanctions that have crippled Iran's economy. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry did not hide his optimism about completing the final agreement. Welcome back. An iftar banquet was held on Sunday at al-Zinar Church in Homs, attended by a number of Muslim and Christian clergymen and political figures. Minister of Social Affairs Dr. Kindal Shammat said that Syrians are united in the face of terrorism and sectarian sedition, hailing the efforts and sacrifice of the Syrian army in defense of security and stability in the homeland. For his part, Homs Governor Talal al-Barazi expressed gratitude for the sacrifice of the Syrian army, stressing that national reconciliation process is ongoing in many areas. And finally, the Syrian scientific team won an international certificate of appreciation in the World Physics Olympiad, which was held in India last week. The certificate was awarded to Jafar Gaddour, one of the team's members. Chairman of the National Commission for the Syrian Scientific Olympiad said that this new achievement is a confirmation of the national project that aims at building a distinguished, educated and creative generation in different specializations and enhancing creativity to show Syria's distinct mark on the global scientific map. He explained that the Syrian team was singled out among hundreds of scientific teams in the world, representing more than 100 countries which participated in the World Physics Olympiad, indicating that this was the result of preparations by the Commission in cooperation with the Central Scientific Committees. And with this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our Facebook page, Syria TV channels. You may also watch the Syrian satellite channel live on YouTube. Now to latest business and market news with Rezan, but after a short break.
Thank you, Vani. Good afternoon. Tourism Minister inspected a number of tourist projects in Tartus and Latakia provinces. During his tour in Latakia, Minister asked the concerned bodies in the Tourist Directorate to study the tourist sites in order to invest them properly for developing the tourist situation in the city and finding appropriate solutions for the stalled projects and put them under investment. While in Tartus, Minister asserted that relaunching the tourist projects after they were foiled is an evidence that the Syrian investors still believe in the tourist work here in Syria. The European summit concerning the Greek crisis was cancelled. This was announced by the head of the European Council, Donald Tusk, who pointed out that the summit for the 19 countries in the Eurozone would be held in Brussels in order to reach a possible rescue plan for Athena. Talks of the European financial ministers of the Eurozone resumed to reach a joint text that could be used as the starting point for finding a new plan to help Greece, whereas the negotiations was dominated by a distrust atmosphere towards Athena, with a German proposal about Greece to be 5 years out of the Eurozone. And now over to some main currencies exchange rates according to the bulletin of the Central Bank of Syria. With this, we conclude our economic news for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.